Hello, I am back again. I am on a roll. Welcome back. Obviously, I am going to start by addressing the name change. I got this idea last night, actually, after starting to upload the video I posted yesterday, which took so long to upload you would not believe. But I was scrolling through my Instagram on my elusive blog. It's not very successful, but that's fine. And I came across the unreleased Lana Del Rey song, the one that goes "Sparkle Jump Rope Queen," and I was like, I'm obsessed with that line, so I was like, you know what, I kind of like that idea a bit more than Moonrise, so I went for that. I know it's a mouthful, but that's what I'm going for. So the reason I'm filming like the day after, which I know usually it takes me months to get onto another video, but I was really excited about what I decided to do today's on. I'm doing my autumn favourites, autumn essentials. Obviously it's coming up to that time of year. We are getting towards the end of the summer, and do not get me wrong, I love summertime. It's fun, it's good, but there is just something so magical about when the air gets that little bit colder and the leaves turn that gorgeous colour. I live in quite a rural area, which means it can be so stunning during the autumn. It can get a little bit grey and sad during the winter, but the colour in the autumn, and there's just something about it that for me is so magical. I'm obsessed, and I'm basic. I like the basic white girl autumn. I love the pumpkin spice. I love Halloween. I love, something so like quintessentially English is days out in little garden centres, and I'm obsessed. You go for like hot chocolate or coffee, look at all that autumn stuff, the Halloween decorations. It's my idea of a very nice day out, and if you understood that, we're on the same wavelength there. Anyways, so I have this thing of some clothes that I thought were some of my like favourite things to wear during the autumn. I have some shoes, which are quite fabulous, down here, but what I'm going to start with is this little stack of books, and I have a couple of CDs. Now this is when it comes to music, autumn essential. This is the autumn album. This is it. It is, you can see my ring light reflection, Red, Taylor's version. Now I only got this very recently, but the first physical CD I ever owned, which sadly has gone missing and I do not know what happened to it, which is tragic, was the original version of Red, which I got when I was a kid. So this was like quite nostalgic to me. State of Grace specifically, I have a memory of like putting it in my little CD player as a kid and like the State of Grace intro starting up, and I'm just obsessed with that song because it's the same with Welcome to New York, because I also had 1989, which I don't know where that went either. Heartbroken. But I have Red Taylor's version, and it's specifically for me, and I think every other autumn girly will know this song all too well. 10-minute version, Taylor's version, From the Vault. I hope I got that all right. It's crazy. But the specific line, autumn leaves falling down like pieces into place, and I can picture it after all these days. It's just, that encompasses it to me. That is the whole of autumn. And the cover, you can't see it because of the ring light, it's so annoying, but it's got the little hat and the coat with the car, and that's her on the red tour. And it's got all the leaves in the background. And if you've ever watched the short film version of All Too Well, which, oh my god, it's so good, but it's actually split into two CDs. So you've got Red with the cover, and then you've got this one. I think is absolutely gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this dress. If you've ever seen like footage from the Red tour, she like plays All Too Well on the piano, and she is in this gorgeous black dress. It's stunning. And so that's the second disc, and I am going to attempt to get out here. Please don't make too much noise. I don't want to damage it. I'm gonna get out the lyric book and show you. Got the prologue. Should I read let's read the prologue. I've always said the world is a different place for the heartbroken. It moves on a different axis, a different speed. Time skips backwards and forwards fleetingly. The heartbroken might go through thousands of micro-emotions a day trying to figure out how to get through it without picking up the phone to hear that old familiar voice. In the land of heartbreaks, moments of strength, independence, and devil-may-care rebellion. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Reading out loud, not my forte. Are intrinsically woven together with grief, paralyzing vulnerability, and hopelessness. Imagining your future might always take on a detour back to the past, and this is all to say that this is my version of Red. Musically and lyrically, Red resembled a heartbroken person. It was all over the place, a fractured mosaic of feelings that somehow all fit together in the end. Happy, free, confused, lonely, devastated, euphoric, wild, and tortured by my memories past. Like trying on pieces of a new life. I went into the studio. I don't know if you heard that car, I'm sorry. They drive like idiots in my neighbourhood. It really annoys me. Anyway, I went into the studio and experimented with different sounds and collaborators, and I'm not sure if it was pouring my thoughts into this album, hearing thousands of voices singing the lyrics back to me in passionate solidarity, or if it was simply time, but something was healed along the way. Sometimes you need to talk it over and over and over for it to ever really be over. Like your friend who calls you in the middle of the night, going on about their ex. I just couldn't stop writing. This will be the first time you hear all 30 songs that were meant to go on Red. And hey, one of them is even 10 minutes long. Sincerely, Taylor. And there's this stunning photo of her again from the Red tour. Now, I don't want to hear any yapping in these comments about, oh, I don't like Taylor Swift. I didn't ask you to like Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift, and this is my channel. So if you don't like that I like Taylor Swift, the door is over there. Goodbye. You do not have to announce your departure. Off you go. You don't have to like her music. Music tastes are different for everyone. That's why they're called tastes. I understand. She's not everyone's bag, but she's mine. So, I don't need you to announce that she's not your thing or say she's overrated. I don't need it. We're going to behave ourselves today, okay? But for me, this album, I have it on repeat during the autumn. If anybody else has a different album they think encompasses autumn, tell me. I want to hear it. Let's find some new songs, you know what I mean? Anyway, so here's the photos from State of Grace. These are from the tour. All of these. There's Treacherous and I Knew You Were Trouble. I love that song. There's All Too Well at the original. There's 22. There's I Almost Do. There's that jacket. That is so fun. There's We Are Never Getting Back Together and Stay, 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 which I love that song. I'm also obsessed with that circus ringleader outfit she wears. It's so sparkly and detailed and amazing. Holy Ground, which I am obsessed with. Holy Ground is so underrated. It's one of her best songs ever. I don't want to hear no debate. Holy Ground. We've got Everything Has Changed and Starlight, and oh look, there's Ed Sheeran. He was in London the other night. We've got Begin Again, which is another one of her best. Red is one of her best albums in my opinion. There is The Moment I Knew, Come Back, Be Here, Girl at Home. And we get into the bonus tracks soon. There's some acoustic versions of some songs, and here we go. These photos are just autumn encompassed. There she is, look. I just love these. There's a specific one that I think about a lot. I love these ones as well. Look at that jacket. She just looks, and the hair flipped over, it just looks amazing. And it's this photo with her hands out in the car. She just looks so happy, and it's that is what I want to look like in the autumn time. That is the kind of autumn I want to have. And then you've got All Too Well and her playing it on the piano there. For me, Red is the autumn album. And I really love how when she released her version, she was able to market it as that, because I really feel like before it was kind of not really marketed. Like back in I think it was 2012, the original, 2014 when the original was released, I'm not sure, sometime around then. Like albums, especially pop albums, weren't really marketed with aesthetics like they are now because of social media. Having an album being more visual, I think, is a much more common thing in like music marketing. But I love what she did with this. And then there is my second one, and Taylor has confirmed herself that she thinks of this to be autumn and winter, because recently, and I think this was actually last night, was anyone else on the live stream last night? Because that was crazy. Florence! I stepped away from that live stream for 2 minutes to get myself a drink of water, and I come back and oh my god, Florence and the Machines is there, what? That was insanity. Anyways, I have Evermore here, and I love, love, love. I have like an emotional connection to Evermore. And I love this braid and this little jacket and this photo. And I love the disc. I think it's such a cute like thing for the disc. Let's read this one. This was another one of her albums that, in my opinion, Folklore and Evermore are her two like sonically best. I think her best album ever, in my opinion, is definitely Folklore. The writing, the production, the time put into it, the quality, it's just perfect. Let's read the prologue, shall we, with this gorgeous photo of black and white there. To put it plainly, I just couldn't stop writing songs. To try and put it more poetically, I feel like we were standing on the edge of the Folklorian woods, and we had a choice to turn and go back, or to travel further into the forest of this music. We choose to wander deeper in my collaborators and I are proud to announce that my 9th studio album and Folklore's sister record is here. It's called Evermore. I've never done this before. In the past, I've always treated albums as one-off errors and moved on to planning the next one as soon as the album was released. There was something different with Folklore. In making it, I felt less like I was departing and more like I was returning. I loved the escapism I found in these imaginary slash not imaginary tales. That I loved the way you always welcomed the dreamscape and tragedies of epic tales, love lost and found. So I just kept writing them, and I loved creating these songs with Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff and Justin Vernon. We've also welcomed some new and long-time friends to our musical kitchen table this time around. Before I knew it, there were 17 tales, some of which are mirrored or intersecting with one another. The one about two young con artists who fall in love while hanging out in a fantasy resort, trying to score rich romantic beneficiaries. The one where long-time college sweethearts had very different plans for the same night, one to end it and one who brought a ring. Dorothea, the girl who left her small town and chose Hollywood dreams, and what happens when she comes back for the holidays and rediscovers an old flame. The unhappily ever after anthology of marriages gone bad that includes infidelity, ambivalent toleration, and even murder, the most righteous motive to avenge the fallen. The realization that maybe the only one path to healing is to wish happiness on the one who took it away from you. One starring my grandmother Marjorie, who still visits me sometimes, if only in my dreams. I wanted to surprise you with this, the week of my 31st birthday. You've all been so caring, supportive, and thoughtful on my birthday, so I think this time I wanted to give you something. I also know this holiday season will be a lonely one for most of you, and if there are any of you who turn to music to cope with missing loved ones the way I do, this is for you. I'm not going to read that all, the end bit there, but we have Willow, which is such a gorgeous song. I love the remixes she did of Willow. Usually I don't like single remixes, but I found that those ones. There's the infamous Champagne Problems. There is 'Tis the Damn Season. I love that photo. There is Nobody No Crime, featuring that, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but the Haim sisters. I've heard it pronounced. There's Dorothea. there is Coney Island featuring The National. There's Cowboy Like Me, I'm obsessed with this song at the moment. There's Long Story Short, I'm also obsessed with it. This one there is Marjorie and Closure. And there is Evermore and Right Where You Left Me. And there is, I love this photo, it's gorgeous. It's giving like those 1930s sort of like stars. You'd see the photos of them where it was very like focused in on the face. And there's It's Time to Go. So those are like the music in my opinion. I think there's a lot more as well, but I didn't really think I'd have time to go through more than 2 albums. So yeah, so I thought I have quite a lot of books here, so I thought I'm going to start with the 2 for the month of October. These are more necessarily gothic kind of horror. There is The Woman in Black. I think this is very sort of autumny Halloween reading. It's quite short, but it's really, really good. There's a movie. It's got Daniel Radcliffe in it. I don't know, the movie wasn't too scary, but it was quite good. I actually watched that film in an English class back in high school, and it was so funny with the jump scares to hear like people down the hall screaming, because we read sections of this when we did like a gothic literature thing. I don't know, I have a very specific memory of that. It's by Susan Hill. I love this cover, it's stunning. Let's read the blurb. Arthur Kipps, a junior solicitor, is summoned to attend the funeral of Mrs. Alice, cannot pronounce that last name, the sole inhabitant of the L Marsh house. The house stands at the end of a causeway weathered in fog and mystery, but it is not until he glimpses at a wasted young woman dressed all in black at the funeral that a creeping sense of unease begins to take a hold, a feeling deepened by the reluctance of the locals to talk of the woman in black and her terrifying purpose. Go with that one. That's something there. And then I love Edgar Allan Poe's work. This cover with the raven, I think that is so pretty. This has just like a load of his different short stories, and I think a lot of them are quite like very much autumny. So weirdly enough, I'm actually reading this one at the moment, and I think I'm probably going to still be reading it, as you can see by the little bookmark, into the autumn. But My Year of Rest and Relaxation, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, has been very good, and I think it's very autumny reading-esque. There's nothing about it that really defines it as like sort of an autumn book like those two, which have like the whole like scary Halloween kind of thing to them. But I don't know, it just reminds me of autumn in some way. So then I have the next ones are for the same reason, but I loved this book. I read it actually last autumn, which I think is probably why it reminds me of the autumn, because I read it in the autumn time. But I have Solitaire. Tori Sprigg is she's very, I say like autumn coded. Like she has like an autumn like personality. I know that's kind of crazy, but like it's kind of what it reminds me of. And I love like the imagery of like walking on the beach or not. But Solitaire was really good. It's by Alice Osman, who also created the very famous and very good Heartstopper series as well, which also kind of reminds me of the autumn. I think it's because they have that little like leaf sort of thing. Now this series, there's 3, it's a trilogy, but all of these I think are very sort of, they're much more lighter than the first 2. If like you want something a little bit more lighthearted, this is actually signed. I got it signed by the woman who wrote it, Christine. She's such a good writer. The 3rd book came out recently and I read it in like a week, and it's about the same length as this one, which is crazy. Usually it takes me months to get through even books like that size. It took me like 3 months to get through this one. It took me a week. I came back, I was on holiday in Greece, and I came back and it had arrived because I pre-ordered it, and I read it in like the first week of being back. It was so good, and I actually have this signed, and I love the details they have on these books, like the shiny details and like the makeup. Look at that, how cool is that? So I actually, like I said, I have this signed. I met her, I think there was like a festival thing on that my school took me to, and she complimented my hair colour because I had recently dyed it at that point back to blonde, because I'm actually like a natural blonde, you can see in the other videos, and it was this kind of like more, I'm going to describe it as apricot blonde. So I had just dyed it recently and I still remember her complimenting my hair, and that was so cool. But anyways, and then I have another Alice Osman one, which is I Was Born for This. This one is about like a girl called Angel, and she's like really into like a fandom, like an online fandom and stuff, and it's really quite interesting. I haven't actually finished this one yet, so, but it's again reminding me very much of autumn. Maybe it's because of the orange on the cover, but those are sort of like my autumn reading list, if you will, even though I've already read most of those. I think this autumn what I'm going to be reading, I don't have it with me, it's in my bedroom, but I think what I'm going to try reading, I think it's going to take me most of the season because it's quite a big book, but everybody's recommended it, is Gone Girl, which I have, so I think I'm going to start to read that once I finish my year of rest of relaxation. And I also have The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which I really need to read. I have her journals as well, which I really want to read, so we'll see how that works out, but there we go. So I'm going to go into accessories and then I'm going to do clothes. So inspired by the cover of Taylor Swift's Red is this hat, which I think is also giving like 1930s sort of Peaky Blinders vibes. I love it. It's a train driver hat, and the reason I got this was actually because my dad has one and I always I would steal it, and I thought, oh my god, that actually looks kind of good, so I thought, why not get one? And I think this is very autumn. I just love it. I think it's so cute. It's made of this like little felt, but I love this. I love just like popping it on, and I love the way it looks. So I have my little train driver hat, which I think is quite cute. You can get these in all sorts of different colours. I actually kind of want to get one in like a burgundy red maybe, or like a black as well as this. So I kind of love that. But the next ones, and I'm going to have to move to get these, but these are so fabulous. These are fake, actually, Demonias. Demonias, I don't really know how it's pronounced. They are, I think the Demonia, I don't know, but they're the 313s, I think, are what they're called. I'm really not sure, but I am obsessed. Now, they're really expensive, the real versions of these shoes. They were like, I think, £320, which I do not have the money to spend on that. So these were still pretty expensive as well, and I got these on sale last year. The only thing about them is that this heel, it may not look that big on camera, but because it has this, like, whole platform, it's really quite hard to walk in them, and obviously because they're fake, the quality on the ankle here, like, there's no ankle support, so they aren't really the best to wear for being fakes, but I love them anyway. I would risk my ankle to wear these things. My parents absolutely hate when I wear them because they're very loud because of the big heel, and that people do tend to stare when I wear these. Obviously they are quite a strange footwear choice. I don't think they're that big of a deal for like a weird footwear choice. Like, they're just fluffy, like wintry autumn boots. What's the big deal? I don't get it personally, but I love them. So that is these. I've talked about these on this channel before actually, but I'm just still so obsessed with them. So like, that's that. And the next things that I have is, and this is very special. Now I've got to be really careful because this is very expensive. But this is my personal favourite jacket that I own. I don't know if you can see it properly, but it's super dry, I think, and they have the collection. There's some longer versions of these coats, and they remind me of sort of like 70s rock star sort of style jackets. They used to wear ones like this, but it has this fur on the sleeves and on the thing, and it's made of this sort of like, I don't know what the material is called, but it makes a nice noise. So I'm gonna like like that. Like, kind of looks like that. Hang on, if I actually put my arm in it. It's so, like, it's very autumny in my opinion, and I might just kind of keep it on for the rest of the recording. But I love wearing this in the autumn. because in the autumn in Britain the weather can be quite weird. It can be quite warm still, but also quite cold at the same time. I know, crazy. So sort of half length jackets like this that you can just sort of take on and on as the weather changes. Quite good for the autumn. I love wearing this jacket with these boots with like the white fur and the sort of brown colour. I think they go so well together. It's one of my favourite outfits. Now, speaking of outfits, I have actually done this outfit with this dress before, which is a very sort of, it's black with these white details and this little bow, and it's kind of like folded material. And I think this is such a good autumn piece. I don't know why, it gives me autumn winter vibes. I'm so excited to be able to start wearing it again. So the next thing I have is actually inspired by the Evermore cover, and it is this, absolutely. It's an essential piece for every wardrobe, I think, is one of these, but this kind of checkered over shirt thing, which I think was actually my mum's before it was mine, but there you go. It's just a button up that you can put over outfits. I think when the weather's that little bit warmer during the autumn, something like this that you can sort of tie around your waist if you get too warm is really good. I love it. I'm obsessed. So the next thing I have, and this is kind of old and you can kind of see it, but it's one of these fold over sort of neckline jumpers. This looks so cute on. This is great with just like a black skirt, just like a casual outfit. It's really comfortable because it's really fluffy, but I love this as a fashion dress. Woo! That made a weird noise. But I love it. It's just like a fashion essential. So the next and the final thing is this skirt. This is another red. Like, I have a blue version of this as well, but it's a pencil skirt. And it is again that sort of, I think it's called tartan or something, or checkered, I don't know. But it is this red and black checkered shirt. It is shirt? Skirt. Sorry, it's a pencil skirt. It's so cute again with just like a jumper, fishnet tights, whatever, cute little boots. It's such a cute outfit. It's so simple. So yeah, I'm going to take this off now because I'm getting kind of warm. Those are my autumn essentials. I think I made such a better effort this time to keep my voice quieter. That's something I'm trying to do because I'm quite a loud person and I do struggle to like control my voice, but I noticed in the last video this microphone picks up a lot, so my voice does come off a lot louder. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know what my next video is going to be actually. I have a few ideas though, so hopefully you won't have to wait months for that when it comes, but I hope you've enjoyed. Like I said, stick around here, you might like it. Bye!